Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about a comedy drama film called Look Who's Back from 2015. Enjoy your viewing. At the very beginning of the film, Adolf Hitler complains to his behavioral coach that wherever he goes, people no longer greet him properly. When he comes out, no one makes the well-known gesture. People could at least raise their hands in tribute to the Führer. The behavior coach says that this is unnecessary, and a simple handshake is enough. After these words, the Führer continues to sit thoughtfully. Adolf Hitler suddenly wakes up lying on the ground in an unknown yard. Suddenly, an orange soccer ball, apparently of local children, rolls up to him. Rising from the ground and looking around, Hitler notices 3 children looking at him in surprise. It turns out that the children are being filmed for a report on local television. Hitler goes in search of his bunker. Suddenly, he notices people in vehicles driving by. When Hitler enters the square, he sees a huge number of people who start taking pictures of him and filming him on their smartphones. The Führer also notices a modern car. Hitler approaches one of the men and asks him how to get to the office. But the man simply takes a picture with him, and then says well-known words to the Führer. Other people in the square also ask to be photographed with him. Still not understanding what was happening, Hitler saw a woman with a child and asked her what day and year it was. The frightened woman sprays the Führer with a spray can. Barely able to see the road, Hitler reaches a newsstand. He grabs a newspaper from the counter and discovers that it is October 23, 2014. And then faints. Then we are shown the building of a commercial TV channel, where the deputy head of the department, whose name is Christoph, is congratulated at a meeting for a job well done. After that, they announce the name of the new managing director, Katja Bellini. Christoph is very shocked that he was not appointed to this position. Annoyed, Christoph congratulates Bellini. After that, he calls Fabiano, the reporter, to his office and fires him. After pressing a button, security guards enter the room. A frightened Fabian asks him not to be fired and tells him about his new video, which will become a sensation, in which ghetto children whose parents are alcoholics have no other chance in life than football. The guards immediately throw Fabian out into the street. Then we return to Hitler, who has regained consciousness in the kiosk. The Führer asks the press seller what year it is. The vendor replies that it is 2014. Hitler assumes that he has been kidnapped by an enemy intelligence service, and to confirm this theory, he needs to kill the seller. However, suddenly he hands Hitler a chocolate bar. The salesman asks Hitler if they are making a feature film or a documentary, because he looks very much like the actor who plays the role of the Führer. Hitler replies that he is the real Führer. Not believing this, the salesman calls Hitler crazy. After that, Hitler notices that the newspaper has a lot of news about the Turks, and asks the seller if he has a people's columnist or a stormtrooper. The seller replied that these newspapers have not been published for a long time, and he has many customers from Turkey. Hitler was very surprised by this. After looking through many newspapers, Hitler realizes that Germany lost the Second World War and was divided. Now the so-called Federal Republic is in the hands of a clumsy woman. Then we are shown Fabian, who has lost his job. He is editing his report on soccer in the ghetto. His mother comforts Fabian. She says she believes in him and notices an unknown man in the video. Zooming in on the video, Fabian recognizes him as Adolf Hitler. This is a real sensation. Hitler has spent the whole night in the stall of a press seller who asks him to move one of the racks outside. A disgruntled Hitler agrees. The vendor tells the Führer that it stinks terribly and that he should immediately take it to the dry cleaners. Leaving his uniform at the dry cleaners, Hitler asks a woman who speaks poor German to give him some clothes because he cannot walk around the city naked. Then we see the Führer walking through the city in modern clothes. A newspaper seller runs up to him and says that a man from television is looking for him. Fabian asks Hitler if he can star in his movie of modern Germany. He agrees. Fabian takes some money from his mother and her car. Then he takes Hitler to a hotel. The Führer marvels at the advanced technology and watches TV. In the morning, they hit the road and drive through Germany. While interviewing people, Hitler learns about the population's dissatisfaction with democracy. Many people complain about immigrants and other problems in modern Germany. The discontent among the people reminds the Führer of the 30s. Fabian then asks Hitler why he wears such a strange mustache. The Führer replies that he shaved it off to fit his gas mask on his face. After that, they interview the owner of a dog shelter. One of the dogs bites Hitler's finger. The evil Führer decides to shoot the dog. Fabian is furious and takes the gun away from Hitler. The company discovers that they have no money left. Christoph refuses to help them. Then they come to the square, where Hitler starts drawing people passing by. People like the Führer's drawings and pay money for them. Having saved up enough money, they continue their journey across the country. When Fabian returns to the city, he shows his film to Christoph, who has already had over 1 million views on YouTube. Christoph is impressed by the number of views, and asks Fabian for the actor's number from the movie and the footage. At this time, Hitler walks into the director's office and suggests that they work together to save Germany. Interested in the idea, Bellini asks Hitler about the plan of salvation. The Führer makes a fiery speech that the director likes, and she suggests finding a suitable TV format for Hitler. Fabian asks him to take him back to work, otherwise he will take Hitler. Christoph agrees, and hires Fabian as a coffee delivery boy. A little later, Hitler is shown his new workplace, and is assigned an assistant named Miss Krohn-Meyer, who helps the Führer to understand the computer. Together they come up with a name for his email. It turns out that the name Adolf Hitler is already taken. The Führer is furious that his name has been stolen. Krohn-Meyer offers the Führer to choose a new name. She registered him under the name of the Chancellery of the New Reich. Sensenbrink wants to frame Hitler and thus take over as director. He decides to bring the Führer to a comedy show. He asks a team of writers to prepare a lot of jokes about racism, Jews, and so on. The show began. The host called Hitler on stage. The audience is confused because they do not understand what is happening. The Führer refuses to read jokes, and again gives a fiery speech about television. The airwaves were flooded with many cooking and humor shows, instead of raising really important topics. The audience loved Hitler's speech, and everyone applauds him. Seeing the Führer's growing popularity, the show's host lashes out at him. The director orders Sensenbrink to put Hitler on all the shows on the channel. Christoph is disappointed because his plan has failed. Hitler appears on all the popular shows and wins them over with his speeches about the German people, and his desire to make Germany great again. The viewers are delighted, and the Führer's popularity grows. The most popular bloggers support Hitler. One day, the Führer and Fabian go to the headquarters of the Nationalist Party, where Hitler expresses his dissatisfaction with the terrible state of the party. The police show up at the TV station's office. Together with the prosecutor, they inform the director that they have received a complaint about Hitler and must immediately close the Führer's show. However, the prosecutor himself likes the show and is ready to close the case. Christoph is disappointed, but Krohn-Meyer tells him that he has to pay the dog's bill and tells Christoph that Hitler shot the dog during the filming. Christoph has a new plan. Hitler came to an evening program where the host showed a clip of the dog being killed. The audience is shocked. They are disappointed in Hitler. The next morning, Bellini was fired. The position went to Sensenbrink. After that, Fabian lets Hitler live in his house. The Führer sits down to write his second book. Fabian hands over the manuscripts to his former director. The book immediately becomes a bestseller. 3 months later, Sensenbrink is informed that the ratings of the TV channel have plummeted. Business is terrible, and at this rate, the company will soon go bankrupt. Christopher is furious. One of his assistants suggests bringing Hitler back on the air. Christopher agrees. Sensenbrink comes to the set of a movie based on Hitler's new book and offers to invest €1 million in the shooting and broadcast it on his channel. Hitler comes to visit his girlfriend Fabian's house. Her grandmother recognizes the Führer and accuses him of killing many people and starting the war. In the car, Hitler tells Fabian that his girlfriend's grandmother is Jewish and expresses his disgust with all Jews. On the set, Hitler cannot remember what happened before he appeared in the courtyard of the apartment building. At the end of the filming day, Hitler goes outside, where twice as many neo-Nazis are waiting for him, calling him a pig and beating him. Hitler regains consciousness in a hospital and sees Bellini standing in front of him. She tells the Führer that he was attacked. He is now a universal hero. At the same time, Fabian is watching the footage of Hitler's appearance and notices something. Fabian immediately goes to the location of the shooting, and while examining it, he comes across a diagram of the Führer's bunker, which is located at this very spot. Fabian rushes to the hospital to see Hitler, but he is no longer in the room. Bellini says that the Führer has gone to the shooting. Fabian tells them that this is the real Hitler, and that he must be arrested. However, the woman does not believe him. Orderlies enter the room to grab Fabian, but he manages to escape. Fabian bursts onto the set and points a gun at Hitler. Fabian orders the Führer to get into the elevator and accuses him of deceiving the people with his propaganda. Hitler says that in the 30s there was no propaganda, and the people themselves chose him as a leader who openly spoke about his plans. Together they climbed to the roof of the building. Fabian brought Hitler to the edge of the roof and called him a monster. Hitler said that the people of Germany had chosen him because they were essentially the same as him. They have the same values, and so Fabian will not shoot. However, he pulls the trigger anyway. The Führer falls from the roof of the building, but immediately appears behind Fabian, and says that he cannot get rid of the Führer because he is part of him. Suddenly the scenery disappears, and the word "cut" is heard. It was all a movie set, and instead of Fabian, an actor was hiding under a mask. Hitler asks to remember the comrades who cannot be with them. We are shown Fabian, who is wearing a special shirt. He is in a psychiatric cell. Hitler and Bellini are signing autographs after a stunning movie premiere. They are driving in a car past people who greet Hitler. If you have watched the video so far, you should know that I am happy to have viewers like you. Thank you for watching to the end. Subscribe to the channel and follow the news. Klontsak Recapped was with you. See you soon.